This is Sam Stone with CBR here at New York Comic Con 2022 with the cast of The Legend of Vox Machina. You can stream season 1 right now on Prime Video. Guys, thanks for taking the time to speak with me today. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, in taking what started out as a tabletop campaign, albeit publicly broadcast, how is it translating it, creating voices, backstories, even more so than you had, and translating it into animation?
It's a unique opportunity to go back and really kind of take the moments we cherish and ensure that they make it into the story, as well as being able to expand on parts that we don't get to see as part of the campaign. When we play the game, it's primarily through the view perspective of the players. In this sort of animation, we get to see where villains and antagonists and other individuals of the story see their perspectives as well, and kind of expand the world and story that much more. Anyone else want to jump in?
I would just add that, we started the game trying to make each other laugh, and we just continue that in the animated series. So when we were able to record together, it was trying to make each other crack across the room. So we want to tell stories that gets us excited, gets our heart racing. We know the fans are going to love, and so we make it for ourselves and for the fans, and it's working. It's working well.
So far, so good.
Yeah, to that point, I was always surprised how serious, because there's some genuine heartbreaking moments in season 1. Like, we see a lot of Percy's backstory. We see how the characters react to characters they like, entire villages getting raised. How do you maintain that balance between delivering self-aware medieval humor, but at the same time you're dealing with medieval action?
It's really hard to, it's a hard tone to strike because, yeah, you're right. The episodes can make you cry and make you laugh within 2 minutes of each other. And I think we just sort of look for guidance in the original campaign, because when we play the game and when we invented these stories through improv and through just playing with each other, we would have moments at the table where we would make each other cry or make each other spit milk out of our nose or other beverages. How many other beverages?
Milk at the table.
Always had a pitcher of milk.
Only Sam's experience, by the way.
I drink a lot of milk, guys.
Strong bones, this one.
Yeah.
I have osteoporosis.
Yeah. Got to get that calcium, kids. Ashley, I'm curious, because in a lot of ways, Pike is kind of the soul of the group. Everybody else is kind of like mercenaries in a way, they are vengeful in a way, driven by the love of combat. But, Pike's kind of being the medic of the group has a more kind of soft outlook. How do you bring that perspective to this just wacky ensemble?
Oh boy, well that's very nice of you to say.
Everybody else sucks. You're amazing.
How's it feel being the best member of Vox Machina?
Well, I think this group sort of needs a I don't want to say mother, but it's somebody, she's a caretaker. Pike is a caretaker, obviously being a cleric, but that expands beyond just actually healing people. I think she really cares about her friends and making sure that everybody's okay. I don't know. I think that is sort of just Pike being a cleric, and my interpretation of just sort of taking care of everybody.
I also like Pike being a bad cleric. Like, you're rough and tumble, you drink,
yeah,
you throw down.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part.
She's a little rough and tumbles.
She'll break a bottle.
Yeah, she'll break a bottle.
Over somebody's head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Go to bed.
I'm curious because there's a lot that we see of Percy in this first season. We see his backstory. We see how his family was just wrecked by vampires. That means you go through a lot of lengths. How was it exploring those emotional depths, especially taking into account that maybe his gun's affecting his psyche more than he realizes?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. I'm fine. It was a lot of fun bringing that all back and going. Oh, God, it was so much fun bringing all of that back to the surface and going through it and getting to see just how bloody and terrible the whole thing really was. Just watching a character grow that you played on a table is amazing. I don't know what else to. Everyone else gets to have a little bit of fun with that, hopefully, in the future. So I liked it. You'll probably like it too.
Well, I am curious because if season 1 was so Percy heavy, what can you tease about who might get the focus in season 2 or even season 3?
We kill half the cast in the first episode and bring in a whole new... No.
Makes it much easier on the writers.
Streamline.
The animators.
We do actually get to venture outside of Tal'Dorei, so you'll get to see more of the Exandria world as a whole, and a lot of elements of other characters' backstories. We knew that the Chroma Conclave covered a long series of episodes in our live stream, so it was an opportunity for us to jump into little motivations, things that we concede later, and get a good look at what ticks behind each of the characters. The twins are going to get some good love this season, so I think some people got to see just how dark and sexy Percy was, and they're going to see how everybody's dark and sexy, especially Grog.
But yeah, it's not really, season 2 isn't really focused on one character as much as season 1 was. We really do touch on pretty much every single character and get to really dig down into their backstories in cool ways.
And now they're going to be dealing with powers that somehow manage to make the Briarwood seem quaint, almost in comparison. Far greater adversity coming their way. Yeah.
I am curious, speaking of the sexy elf twins. I mean, Liam, Laura, how is it kind of developing like Vex and Vax's like dynamic? Especially, they seem to be the most stoic among this group of just like rapscallions. Like,
well,
how do you...
First off, full elves are dicks. They're half elves.
Thanks very much. Yeah, by comparison, we are sweethearts.
Yes.
Upstanding citizens.
I don't know. I think it's really interesting because in the first season we kind of see the elves, half elves, the twins, being like, at least for Vex, kind of above it, right, and keeping everybody at a distance. And so I really love as we move forward with the story to see the barriers breaking down and finding those connections with all of the other members.
One of my favorite things of all of this, and there's a lot of favorite things, both with the game and our show now, is the twins, the relationship they have, the easy patter, the reliance they have, the booping. You just, my thought's gone. It's just gone.
Wipe the slate.
It's like a Vulcan kind of, anyway. Marissa?
That was
The answer is,
You
I
got it.
love seeing the complications that come their way and seeing them have to grow as people and individuals while still having each other's backs at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like in general, like the first season was very much about Vox Machina coming together as a family and finding that family. And season 2 is a lot more focused on managing that family and that relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm sure most everybody, if you have a family, know what that's like.
Family is hard.
Family is hard.
Yeah. To that point, where do you see Kayla's kind of like role within maintaining that family? Because she brings a sense of innocence that maybe some of the other characters don't share.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can kind of see, and then, I mean, even in our further discovery and journey with Keyleth, beyond season 2, she kind of struggles with feeling confident in herself and feeling heard, and just really kind of coming into her powers a little bit more and feeling confident in that. And I mean, even like also some of her relationship with Vex as well. It was like there's some good girl bonding.
Well, if there's ever a character that has no trouble being heard, it's probably Scanlan. Right.
Oh, who, me?
I mean, he's a guy that's got the big 80s power rock stances and just loves the ladies, and usually they love him back.
Sure.
Like, how is it kind
just
of like exploring your more scurrious side in your performance?
Did you say scurliest?
Scurrious. I don't think there's a T in there.
Oh, okay. Sure. I'll have to look it up later.
Yeah.
No, it's been cool. Like all the characters, though, Scanlan, as you will see getting into season 2 and beyond, is more than just a Lothario who sings. So he'll get into some deeper stuff towards the end of the season and start exploring, what's behind the clown makeup. Is there anything there? Who knows? We'll find out. But I will say this: I still get to sing a whole bunch in season 2, which is fantastic. And there's a couple of songs. Where, I mean, they're big songs.
There's some bangers.
There's some bangers.
Some really good
And no spoilers, other members of the cast get to sing in season 2. Yeah. So buckle up for a lot of auto-tuning.
Travis, I'm curious. Like some of my favorite. I'll just let that sit for a second. Some of my favorite moments with Grog is like we get the hit very hard moments, but we also get moments of like surprising insight that I think even catches him off guard, where he's just like, there's a surprising amount of insight and wisdom there. how is it finding the genius inside the brute?
Oh. Well, you know, for some people it's a struggle. To some it comes naturally. No, I mean that's what I
know if you want to sit. I don't know if you want to own that.
Brute genius. It's a two-sided, double-edged sword. The thing I love the most about Grog is that, you know, he's distracted by the simplest things, the shiny things, the things that, you know, there's no filter to him at all. But what I loved about his character that came out so well in season 1 is the love that he has for his friends and for Pike, and that perpetual older brother feel that he has. So in season 2, you're just going to get to see more of that. He's going to be tested by things in his backstory, in his life before Vox Machina that will come to the forefront, and it'll test him in those relationships. And so you really get to see, you know, what happens with the family you choose when it becomes battle tested, rattle tested. Yeah, and so I think you just get to see what really makes Grog tick.
Right on. You know, as voice actors and prolific voice actors at that, character always starts with voice. I don't know why I'm explaining that to you because you already all know that. But like, outside of the mansplaining, something I find striking about tabletop is everybody has an ownership in their character. You create who your character is. You know who that person is. How did you find the voices for each of yours?
Oh wow! Oh,
it started
many moons ago.
Yeah, the original
Yeah,
game.
the very first game. You're right. Where we got together to celebrate the day of my birth and played Dungeons and Dragons together.
Thank you.
Well, it happened to be their birth.
I know.
Anyway, Laura, I was about to compliment you, and you undercut it. We're right on brand, guys. We're right on brand.
Siblings.
Laura just dropped into the voice that the world knows as Vex at this little card table in Matt and Marisha's old apartment years and years and years ago, and we just followed her into the trenches and never looked back.
I thought that's what we were supposed to do, so I just kind of did it.
Then that's what everybody else started to do.
Yeah, well, I had never played a tabletop game before that game, and so my only experience with like RPGs were video games, and like I'm obsessed. So I spent that amount of time, you know, thinking about what I would want my character to like look like and sound like and everything like that. So I wanted her to feel like a video game character that I would play.
As the person who ran the game and had been playing for many years with non-voice actors who've been hoping and wanting players to get into that sort of mode of character play, I immediately was happy that you did it and then bullied all them into doing it too. It was
We
perfect.
were sitting at the table and Matt's just jumping in between characters and different voices and mannerisms, and we were just like, "Where's the popcorn? This is incredible!" So we had to bring our own stuff to the table.
Yeah, we've always treated the game like a voice actor gym, I think.
Definitely.
Great place to play.
Definitely. I'm really good at accents specifically.
You are. Don't sell yourself.
Pike's voice is a very specific part of South Dakota. There's a one town.
Yes,
you
yeah.
did a lot of
Did a
training.
lot of studying. I went there to
Went
sort
there,
of take it all
absorbed it.
in.
Yeah.
I remember my first game, which was the second game, I think, with everybody,
Yeah, that's right.
and hearing all of them do voices, I was like, uh-oh. I thought we were just gonna, I don't know. So then I thought I was doing a voice, but it really wasn't that different than my own.
Give us your best Irish accent, right here in front of a camera.
Hoity. There it is. Oh, gonna get some Guinness. I'm gonna.
Don't keep going. Do not keep going.
I really love corned beef and cabbage. No, stop.
This interview is over.
We're gonna get a big head from Ireland.
We just lost Dublin. I am curious, as the dungeon master, it's quite all right. As the dungeon master of all this, how is it entrusting like this world to other writers, be it Mark Bernardin or like Sam Maggs when you're doing stuff like the Vox Machina comic? Hey. Like, how is it, entrusting this vision to outsiders?
One of my favorite things, I've said it a few times before, is collaboration. Like, I don't believe in the auteur. I don't believe that a singular vision can make the best art what it can be. And for me, one of the best experiences I have is working with other people that are as passionate as I am about creating stories, and them trusting me to kind of tell them about it, show them my ideas, our ideas, what we've built together, and then seeing what they do with it. And that collaboration is one of my favorite things. And as we continue to do things like the animated series and comic books and bring in other creatives and kind of hand them this world for a bit and be like, show us what inspires you and makes you passionate about this, and having them come back and blow us away is awesome. And when it comes to like casting NPCs, characters that I created and embodied and feel very connected to in their own unique ways, for me, the coolest part is being able to pick the right person to bring that to life in ways I never could, and then watch it kind of walk on its own and take off. It's really, really cool.
Yep. And I think I have time for just one more, and this is always kind of the complicated, tricky, loaded one. But what can you tease about The Legend of Vox Machina Season 2?
Dragons.
There are dragons. There's more than one dragon. There is a conclave of dragons.
There are.
Indeed.
More cities.
More cities, not just cities. Towns, villages,
Yeah.
other metropolitan areas, tri-state areas.
We
Terrain.
walk. Lots of walking and talking.
Some on carts, some
Yeah.
with your feet.
Horses.
Other dimensions.
There, that's a little bit more
There you
exciting.
go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Friendships, relationships,
Yeah.
Nice.
tested.
Emotional turbulence, ridiculous combat.
Yes.
yeah, epic
And
And the weapon, the upgrade, lots of
Oh,
weapons
many
type
upgrades.
upgrades.
Some designs.
Tasteful partial nudity.
there you go. What?
Is it tasteful?
It's always tasteful.
And I think the scope of their involvement in Exandria just grows that much more epic, as do the stakes.
Yeah. Yeah, and if season 1 was about them sort of coming together as a family, like Marisha said, and this is really a test of can the family stay together when unexpected guests come over to stay with you, and these guests happen to be a team of horrible dragons.
Yeah.
And so it really pushes the family to really test the limits of their bonds together and see if they can overcome it and survive. And maybe they won't. I don't know.
And on that cliffhanger note, that's our time. This is Sam Stone, the CBR, here at New York Comic Con 2022 with the cast of The Legend of Vox Machina. You can watch it now on Prime Video. Guys, thanks for taking the time.
Sorry, Ireland.